Hello.
Slowly but surely, I'm getting everything ready. Don't you worry. I'm just lethargic, or whatever the word is for when you're like, somehow you're just processing slowly. Like, you're not sore or anything like that, you're just slow. Anyone ever had that before? How did my inspection go? I didn't have a house inspection or anything like that. I had a, I'll explain once I'm on the main screen. Hang on a second. First time chat furry cures. That is a fucking lie if ever I heard one. What happened to your account? What happened to your account, Furry Cures? Why is this your first time chatting? That does not make sense whatsoever. You created that account like 3 years ago, and it's like, oh, this is the first time. Cookie for Hawaiian pizza. Did someone ban you? What the fuck happened? Hang on a second. Did someone like did someone ban you and unban you really quickly or some like how did that happen? What happened to you? What happened to everything? Like, hang on a second. Follow age. Furry cures. Oh. Did you change your name? Blep. I reckon that might hang on a second. Twitch.tv/moderator. What in the world did you do to your stream? Yeah, it's interpreting you as an entirely different account now. What is up with that? Alright, hang on a second. Filter. Not the alerts. I only want the reward redeems. Furry cures. 12, 20. There you go. Now you're good. Did you just, like, not sign in or something? There we go. Account created December 28th, 28. Oh. Oh, Furry Cure, and then Furry Cures. Why do you have multiple accounts with such relevant names? Like, if you're gonna have alternative accounts, there should be a little more change to them. There should have been... Hold on. You're naked. Good gravy, he's naked! You only have 2. I only have 2 as well. Grant Zeebs and Robot Zeebs. Those names make sense. So, anyway, I still need to put my, like, my whole thingy-majiggy of... Ooh!
Hendrix with the 20-month tier 1 sub. Hi, Grant.
Hi, Hendrix! Thank you for the 20 months of subscriptions. I greatly appreciate it. Also, I just realized My belly is doing a weird fucking... Nope, wrong button. There we go. My belly was doing a weird thing because I think I was holding control when the peck dance thingy-majiggy was supposed to end. There we go. Thank you so much for the 20 months. I greatly appreciate it. So how did everything go? Rightio. So, Melbourne Cup. Nothing broke at the office, which was great. It was relatively stressful, but, you know, we got through it in the end, which is what I want, and which is great. Another year where my job isn't at risk at being, like, you know, canceled or anything like that because of the efforts of, like, the IT team and what have you. In other news, however, the same sort of, timey-wimey as Melbourne Cup going off, there was a notice from like the real estate agent that I go through for where I'm currently renting right now. They sent me an email of like, oh, hello there, good sir. Your lease is scheduled to end February, like whatsamahoozies in 2024. The property manager has offered you a 1-year leasing increase, a 1-year rental lease increase, and with a rental increase of X amount of value. Actually, you know, why am I saying X amount of value? Like, basically, I'm going from like $440 a week to $485 a week. There's like, it's not exactly 10%. It's a little bit more than 10% because they're upping it by like $45. But yeah, the obvious answer for why they're increasing it that much is because interest rates have increased to that value, and everywhere else around the suburb I'm in have increased their prices to like such a degree that the rent that I'm paying, it was a case of like, oh, you're, you know, a good like maybe $200 behind like most other people at this, or like $100 and something, but Queensland can only have us increase the rent by like 10% a year. So here is your lease agreement and such. I checked around. I was kind of tempted to look around for other places. I will be real with you, because the amount of rent I'd have to pay is technically above 40% of my pay, like my take-home pay, I should say. Now, I know the number, like the ideal number range is to be less than 30% of your take-home pay, like should be how much you pay in rent, but like I've not, like I know that number has sort of been fudged right now, where it's now just a case of, oh, 50%. Don't go, like 50% is like your guarantee, don't go over this value or whatever like that. So right now, like if I do the math, hang on a second, let me get a calculator out. All right, so I'm lucky that I live in regional Victoria. Yeah, I'm not that, like I'm not far from the city, but at the same time, I'm not like, you know, I'm not out in Whoop Whoop or Wubba Wubba. I think I recently learned is a suburb. I'm not out in Whoop Whoop or in the boonies.
I'm like cutie.
I'm like, without saying where I am, I moved closer. Was anyone in the Optus outage? Lol, Luke, you were in the... hang on, I need to find the meme. Actually, it's just an email. It's not a meme. But basically, I got an email from Telstra during this outage. And it is fantastic. Hang on a second. Let me find, it's gotta be here somewhere. Let me find it. It was oh so fucking funny. Let me just find it again. Where? I could not have deleted it that soon. Where is it? Where? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Alright, let me get a screenshot of this. So... oh, actually, I can just screenshot this. I can just screenshot this and you wouldn't know. Alright. Now, Get ready to see some real ballsy work here. Bing. So, any of you that are over in the United States may not have known this, but last night to this morning, the Optus phone service, which is Australia's second biggest ISP and telecom company, that went out across Australia for about half a day. People who were like an Optus person could not use their mobile phones and such. This fucked over so many people, from end users to corporations with their helplines. It was not a great time being an Optus employee, because it happened last night. It was still a problem in the morning, and it was basically almost until the afternoon that it was still a problem. They got it fixed at one point in the day, don't get me wrong, but during the time that they were getting this thing done, I'm with Telstra. I did not have this problem at all. Telstra is the biggest telecommunications ISP because, technically speaking, Telstra was previously owned by the government, and then from 1990s to 2016, the government was starting to sell off shares of Telstra. So basically, a company that was once owned by the state, that had the training and the infrastructure all across the country, decided to go public, or decided to be privatized and shit, and the government owns like 0.18% of it, so no longer government. This is the email I got as a Telstra customer about maybe an hour after Optus had their fun. The title: helping to keep you connected through disaster. Like, this could have easily have been an automatic message. The fact that, like, you know, they were just what's-a-mahoozies, they were just because it was sent at basically 12, and it's like, we're stepping up our support ahead of the upcoming disaster season, what is set to be one of Australia's hottest summers. We are stepping up our support to help communities reconnect when a natural disaster occurs. Like, imagine everyone in Australia knows Optus is having some tough shit, and you're working at Telstra. You're like the senior, like, VP of marketing or some shit, and there's like a final check for, oh, this is the email that's being sent out like nationwide to our customers, and the title is helping to keep you connected through disasters. Brilliant. So yeah, I am a Telstra mobile customer, and for ISP, I am Aussie Broadband. I think I used Jason's referral code for Aussie Broadband, so then that way I got like 10 or $50 off in my first month. It was fantastic. Still reeling from the Optus hack, still getting scam calls and emails. Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. But yeah, it was fucking hilarious. Just all the issues went off with Optus, and then Telstra with the gall just being like, keeping you connected through disasters. Just beautiful subterfuge. Anywhoosies, back to my thingy-majiggy. The amount of money I am currently paid, I should only be spending, like, if I wanted to try and retain 30% or less as my, like, limit to rent, I should only have been spending like $330 a week on rent. I am not doing that. When I first got into this place, I was spending $420 on rent. A year later, or 6 months later, $430. A year later, $440 a week. The lease is going to expire in February, and they're upping it to like $485. I am not exactly in the mood for only having the lease go off for about a year, considering we've just gone through we've gone through a 5-month gap between when the last time the interest rate has raised, and everyone is just sort of feeling the effects of interest rates going up, and like, who aren't home owners, I should say. Me hedging my bets, I imagine interest rates are going to continue rising because Like, the things that the interest rates are trying to combat are not being combated. The cost of living is still going up. The cost of the cost of petrol is still going up. There is no sight on wages being, increased to a level that is like sort of fair for people without, just being as like a repercussion of everything costing so damn much. There isn't going to be a whole ton of people not working in Australia, not living in Australia. So like anything that could be like, more susceptible of like, changing inflation in Australia has not happened, quite frankly. So rather than go for a year and potentially dealing with like an even worse rental market, I asked the real estate agent, hey, what happens if I ask for a 2-year extension rather than just one? Because I came into this property with a 2-year extension first, and I want to do another 2 years. They went back to the person. They're like, okay, on this second year that they're willing to do a 2-year lease, but on the second year you are here, they're going to increase it from $485 to $510, which makes it so that jumps it up from like, being around the 40%, 43% of my wage to being like 46% of my wage. Or hang on a second. I should really double check how much money I am actually getting as my take-home pay for the accuracy of this. Give me a minute. Almost half. Yes. Almost half. It is not great, but to be... I'll explain like my train of thought on some of the reasons why I am not really interested in trying to look for a place within my means with the job that I have and the hobby that I have. I never realized Brisbane was getting as expensive as Melbourne. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Here's the thing. Everyone in like Victoria and New South Wales has been going to Brisbane, because what has Australia been doing for like the last few years? They have been demonstrating that people can work from home. They can't work from home fully, but they can work remotely in a hybrid environment, which means where you live is probably not as important as how you get to work. And so now, hang on a second. So, all right, cool. So, hang on, my pay. 2200, 2240, 2242, 2261. Somehow I got 2500 that month. I don't know how. 2242. Okay. So, we need to keep the number 2242. So, 2242, 30% of that is $672.06. Thank you. So we're doing some real quick math here. So if I was meant to look for like a place of my means, if I was living by myself and I wanted to like try and stay in the city, I would need to find a place for $336 technically a week. Here's how I'm currently living. I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment. One room is my actual bedroom. The other room is the office, the thing I'm in right now. There's a living and a dining area. There's a living area and a kitchen area. Sorry, not dining. Living and kitchen. That's like separate from the 2 bedrooms. It's fairly spacious. There's a balcony. There isn't a garbage chute. There isn't a concierge. It's apartment by the legal definition, from the fact that it's like, 4 people per floor in this 4-story building. So, and oh, actually I can show the history. So then actually extend it to the, all right, so 2242. All right, so 2242 and then divided by, now my rent was 420 when I first started. That's not correct. All right, 420 divided by 2,242. Again, I did that calculation wrong because I used a weekly payment, weekly rent based off of fortnightly payment. I should have it would be 840 divided by 2,242. Jesus Christ, finance is hard. 0.37. Okay, so 37% of my take-home pay was going to my rent. It is now at, so where I'm at right now is at $880 a fortnight, and I'm taking home $2,242, which is 39%. Now, the rent will increase to $485, times that by 2 is $970 a fortnight. So 970 divided by 2,242. That hits 43%. And then in the next year, assuming I don't get any raise or change my job at work or in another work, it then goes up to 510. So 510 times by 2 is 1,020 divided by 2,242, which is 0.4. Okay, so that's not as high. Like, granted, we're talking about like 1 to 2%, which is really not that great. So it's not 50%, but it's definitely not 30%. There's about a 30, like I'm paying about like 50% more than I really should for my own place. Here's where the fun happens, though. You are not going to find a 2-bedroom apartment for less than $330 in or around the city. It's not possible. I don't have a car. The likelihood of me being able to get a car is not likely a good idea if I don't have the savings to be able to do like a deposit on a car and get some like really cheap one, especially if the only reason I'm getting a car is for, you know, the fact that I'm living so far away. Because like I don't do the whole driving to work thing. I'm much more of a take the train to work kind of thing, especially since work does not have parking spots. They do have parking spots, but they have a limited number of parking spots. And I basically have to take a pay cut if I want a parking spot. Or I start paying for parking in another place. Like the cost balance of owning a car is a huge investment, and I'm not interested in trying to cut cost of living by increasing the cost of transportation. It's not great. So, because, like, how much would a car cost? Do I want to look up how much a car costs? Probably not a good idea on today's stream, unless, hang on a second, car sales. Do people still sell cars at car sales? Or do they go, like, somewhere else entirely different? Like, if I wanted, in Queensland, when looking at moving, I looked at Melbourne, but found it too dear. Yeah. Oh, here's the other thing. Fun. Hi, Little Incineroar. Alrighty, I'm gonna take the butt queue as queue for, like, people are probably not interested in me doing the fun what's-a-mahoozy talk. Also, I'm gonna change this thingy-madiggy back to 0.5. Filters. Compressor and ducking. Alright, hang on a second. Where's the... Oh, I realize where I'm fucking up. It's not... Okay, so... Ding. Advanced audio properties. So... Okay, volume doesn't need to be percentage. It needs to be... -5. StreamerBot is 5.2. Alright, AverMedia is 5. That's good. The monitoring is turned off. It's on the correct channels. Alrighty. Copy filters. Paste filters. Filters. Alrighty then. So we got... Alright, close that one. That's the comm. So yeah, 4-to-1 with a much lower thingy-madiggy. I used to put a limiter on, but I think I'm going to keep the limiter off for this one. Sorry, Grant. Nah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm fine with like this was a side of me that I don't think a lot of people know about with me. So and thankfully I didn't reveal too much about myself. So, but yeah, this is where we're at right now. A lot has changed. Now I know I look like the classic. Hang on. So I've been doing a little bit of offline grinding, like exploring more of the city, getting more of the side content done. So then that way I can unlock more suits. Like, look at this. It's the classic. And they've done something clever. So this is like the first one you'd get. The second one is a little more purple. And then they've got like the anti-venom, which is white. But then, look at this. They've got the black suit, but it's got the effect of red on the left side and blue on the right side. They've done that's an effect that they did in, I want to say in Spider-Man. So yeah, so we got that suit, and then over on Miles Morales we've got some more, but unfortunately I don't have the hero tokens for it. But we got the Agent of Shields over here, and we got Crimson Cowl over here. We got so many things. Ooh. And jump! So, he doesn't have the Venom suit yet. We're still at the place, storyline-wise, we're still at the same place that I left you guys the last time I played this. So, Harry Osborn, he's now got Venom in him. He's
trapped inside that store.
bonk. And bam.
Everyone all right? Just to be safe, I recommend going home as soon as you can.
They're doing pose. It ain't about the money, Spider-Man. It's about the Mets, baby. Come on, baby. I love the Mets. So yeah, side content. There's quite a bit of it, and looking all around, we're doing this to get more tokens and different things. And plus I want to try and and then bonk. But yeah. So I'm not really looking for getting a car, which would increase the cost of my, like, travel in order to have cheaper living. Because, like, what's the point of saving, like, $300 a fortnight if I have to start spending $300 a fortnight on new transportation? Alrighty, bonk. There we go. And no one is the wiser. Alrighty. Stealth games are like puzzles. It's easier when there's less jigsaw pieces to deal with.
Who's there?
There we go. And then... bonk. Grab you.
Just be quiet.
And then another perch takedown there. So... there. I've got 2 years now to... because I asked about for the extension, I got it, I signed off on it, and either there's going to be improvements, because like my boss has been asking like what it is I'm hoping to do in the future and such, and he's been doing a lot of, oh Jesus,
Spider-Man.
fuck. he's been asking me, like, or he's definitely been asking the team for the whole, like, oh, what is it that you would like to... What is it that you would like to do in the future? Like, what are some areas you want to grow in? And what have you? And I'm fairly certain he is also interested in increasing our wage in different places because, one of us was getting paid a lot more than they probably should, and it was a classic case of it wasn't going to be a moment of us going, oh, you should be paid less, but we should be paid more, so we're going to get paid more.
Jason036 has added quote number 450. He's been doing a lot of, oh Jesus.
Oh Jesus.
Sorry for the intrusion.
So yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the quote. So yeah.
Time to expand
So,
knowledge.
and the thing is that I've been working at the current place I've been working at, I've been there for 6+ years, about to go on to 7. And I like what I do there, but
Time for that last blind.
also, where in the world? There's like notifications going off. Alright, let's go to the main mission. Although I'm gonna need to decide on a different spider suit because I don't think it will look like a good idea if I'm wearing the black Spider-Man suit in the next one. So there's 2 affordable suits for... Okay, so we can get Great Responsibility. We can't get the hero icons yet. Alright. So we've got the upgraded suit, which is from, you know, Spider-Man Homecoming. We've got the new blue, which I think was his, like, you know, whole Fantastic Four foray. I don't know. The upgraded suit from the end of Far From Home. Stealth suit, also from Far From Home. Do we want to go with the Sam Raimi suit? Might be good to go with the Sam Raimi suit. Like, I'm not a fan of the Iron Spider, or Secret Wars, or the Arcanite. Maybe not Spider-Man. Superior, the Scarlet, Kumo, the Hybrid. There's Amazing Spider-Man 2, the Advanced Suit. Let's go. Let's see what option. So there's got that one. We got that one. We got that one. It's got a little bit of black. We got that one with the white logo. What's this one? This one's got the black, this one's got the blue, this one's got the yellow. We've not unlocked any new suits, because one of them requires us to complete the EMF, the Hunter bases, the Flame. Hi there, Sky. Okay. He says okay. Time for bed? Oh, okay. Not to worry, Sky. Thank you for coming along and catching in for a little bit of the start of the stream. I really appreciate it. I don't know why, but, like, the upgraded suit and the upgraded classic suit, like, these just feel like he's a bit too young for them. Maybe it's just because of Tom Holland syndrome. This just feels right. That one's weirdy. Like, this one has, like, a lot of weird rebbing, and I don't like the look of the yellow. This just looks great. So that's the classic Advanced Suit. Advanced Suit 2. You know what? Let's go for Advanced Suit 2.0. Let's keep it classic. Oh, robbery.
There. That person's in trouble. I've got this. Get clear.
Break him out of that. Didn't take any damage, which is exactly what we want. Alright. Moving on. What in the world? Why is there like yellow... Oh, they just randomly... They can just randomly be around the place. Okay. Dink. Here we go.
Someone's gonna get killed in all that. I gotta move. I've never hunted something like this. All right, I'll take it from here. Just like in man, Spider-Man. Show him what you can do!
Hello there, Air Nick. Hello there. I've realized I've forgotten something critical, and that is to like apply a
Nice. That was one
it's to apply a whatsamahoozies, it's to apply a what's it called? Also, what in the world is my move list for bounce up? Ding 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 ding. It's gonna be here somewhere. In the air with an enemy, hold. Oh, okay, okay. That makes a little more sense.
Got him for that.
There we go. And then...
When I get closer.
Got him. You're doing alright? That's good.
Everyone clear on what we learned today? Don't sneak up on
Fakovil. It's like you told me how to pronounce it last time. It was like Fakovil or just Nick. Actually, you know what? Before I forget, I'm just gonna click on your name and then parentheses Nick. There we go. Is it alright if I use Nick? I probably should have asked that before. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Probably should have not have said the name. Fuck. Oh hey, this is where the Battle of New York was taken. Boop. Thank you for the boobs. Cookie for Hendrix. Thank you for the head pats. Meow. Oh, hello. That's a... Why are you doing the signal? You're fine, Grant. Most people can't pronounce it anyway. Yeah, I guess. It is a bit of a tricky one. Rare tech part. Nice. 40 damage to games. Ooh, more tech parts. keep that open and grab that. There we go.
No sign of Harry.
Oh, but that's his mom right there. Okay. Oh, tape recorder.
What's that?
Happy birthday, Em. They say time heals all wounds. That's a lie.
I forgot if I told you how I got in the name or not. You got it because I think your dad had a different sort of like, or it was either your first email or your dad had a particular first
Really
email.
hurting.
It was something along those
I need to find
lines.
Harry and save him. Haven't heard from MJ in a while. I should give her a call.
Oh, JJ, he's gonna be doting on her, isn't he?
Love this.
You do?
Yeah, but she doesn't.
Hit the nail on the head. Finally! Top story. Everybody's talking about it. This is editor material.
Editor.
Congratulations. Your first assignment, write more juicy stuff by tomorrow morning. Drama, controversy, just like this.
Like this.
Get writing!
She only wanted to do that as like a one-time thing.
MJ,
I didn't get fired from the Bugle. In fact, I think I got a promotion.
hey, that's what you wanted, right?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Then that's great. Hey, listen. Something's gone wrong with Harry.
What happened?
Well,
Hang on, someone's at the door.
it's kind of hard to explain. Just promise me you'll stay away from him, okay?
Oh, hi, Harry. Oh, that's not great. It was your dad's PSN originally, and he named it after Francisco Villa.
Come on, MJ, pick up!
Hey, it's MJ. You can leave
Damn
a
it.
message, but why would you? If it's important, just, text.
Please be okay.
Spider-Man, how are you feeling?
Anxious? Panicked?
I meant, physical symptoms. Soreness? Fatigue?
Yes. Wait, symptoms?
I've been looking through years of research notes. The symbiote channels a collective consciousness.
That hive mind I was in.
Is optimistic. It may still be inside you.
What?
Nothing to panic about, but perhaps you should come to the lab for
That's...
some tests.
Oh, yeah, no, this is the so-called, like, DNA of anyone that's beamed Venom technically has Venom, like, symbiote genes in them or some shit. So, like, the symbiote can, like, be immortal or some nonsense.
Hang on, MJ.
Oh, train. There he is. Your
MJ!
whole name is made of last names from family names. Nice. Oh,
Harry.
Pete? You look tense.
yes.
We need to talk.
You must get tired making the world a better place every single day. But I can help. All you have to do is let me.
This isn't you.
Wrong.
I don't know.
This is the real me.
This could be a manipulated you to be real.
I finally have the power to realize our vision.
Wait, Jason is just forever 36 now? How
Giving
did you
up
make
on
that deal?
Harry, we need to get that thing off you.
Do not call us a thing.
Poor choice of words. Let's, you know...
We are not, Harry.
No.
We are.
I'm sorry, is a fridge gonna be holding you down, Peter? Oh, he's doing some weird shit. Oh. Oh.
Better go!
I don't know how I feel about that.
Show him what he's missing. You can't have her!
Too late.
Okay, so they're called Scream. What in the shit? I don't know. And it's like, it really confuses me because it's like red hair and shit, which is fantastic.
Done begging for validation from you, from anyone.
Validation? If this is about your job!
Still think you're stronger, do you?
That was a very short fight. I got distracted by the hair.
MJ, just talk to me!
I'm done talking. Done begging for validation from you, from anyone.
Validation? If this is about your job!
It's about me. Hey! Not my job. Stupid house. Once, not about you.
About me? MJ, what do you mean?
You stay out of this. I'm finally in control.
Don't want to hurt her. Don't let it control you!
You always patronize us.
Oh. I misread the attack pattern. Alright, first phase done.
Look at what you're doing! This isn't control!
I am in complete control! Pete! What's happening to me?
Yeah, it didn't work. It needs to be a more consistent noise, but we'll work on that. Oh wait, I have the concussion sonic blast thingamajiggy. That should do it.
Make it stop! Make it stop!
Don't listen to those voices! They aren't telling the truth! I heard them too! I know how it feels!
Always about you! You can't keep a job! You can't pay the mortgage!
I have a job! With Harry! We'll be okay!
And for how long? There's only one job you care about! Spider-Man!
That's not fair! People need me! You know that!
What would the city do without Spider-Man? Look how it's doing with you!
I can still fix this! I always do! We always do!
I always come second! I live in your shadow where my dreams turn to dust! Ah! It's so loud! It hurts!
Bam, 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 bam.
Just talk to me!
No more!
Got it. This reminds me of the short that saw Miles Morales bond with Carnage and didn't commit war crimes.
Nobody cares! That's not true. If I helped one person, it was worth it.
I'm just distracted by how sexy she is. Like, I don't know if I should feel this way about a fucking symbiote, like, attire.
Help you! My life is constantly interrupted by you! Looking for answers! Please! Because you lost a job or can't pay a bill! I write words I don't believe in for a man I despise! So you can be happy! The pain!
I didn't realize! MJ, you can quit! I can figure something out!
I can't trust you! I can only rely on us!
No! I'm sorry, MJ! I was wrong! You don't have to trust me! But please, trust yourself!
Let me do what
Got him.
We don't need you.
The city needs you! I need you!
Don't lie to me! Pete! I need you too!
They're not working really well together.
You just want to stay the stronger half! What? Don't feel special anymore?
What? No! You're stronger than me in so many ways! You've been single-handedly...
Ah, there's so many phases to deal with. There's way too many phases to deal with. Hi there, Leon. Is that my friendo?
Just want to stay the stronger half!
Okay, I thought I dodged that.
Feel special anymore?
What? No! You're stronger than me in so many ways!
Make it stop! Make it stop!
What? No! You're stronger than me in so many ways! You've been single-handedly holding our lives together! I'm sorry, MJ! I took you for granted!
MJ is gone!
No! You aren't! I'm sorry I caused you so much pain! The house! My job! Our life together! I promised you I'd be better, but I wasn't! I should have listened! I should have been there! We're a team! Me and you! I never want your life to be worse, to make mine better! Your dreams are just as important as mine!
You're lying!
You're just as important!
Oh, I just realized I turned on the time thingamadiggy. That's why it was like so much slower.
So loud! It hurts!
Yeah! How's it going, Leon?
This isn't what you want!
How do you know what we want?
You're Mary Jane Watson, you want the truth?
Yes. I want the truth.
Doing good. And that thing I messaged about a couple days ago. Oh, that's cool. That's neat. I have gotten through Melbourne Cup. I've signed off on an extension on my lease. And I think we're about to get MJ out of the symbiote screen right now.
Are you?
Am I? I'm okay. Yeah, I think...
What is... Am I in performance mode or am I in quality mode? Hang on. Graphic mode, fidelity. Okay, so I am in, like, the good quality.
Okay.
I don't know why. I was expecting, like, more, like, hair thingamajiggies with Scream's longer hair.
Not yet.
Like, because thinking back to it, it's like, oh, there wasn't that much, was there?
Watson, where are you with my apple fritters? I'm starving, and
Jonah? Kiss my ass. I quit.
Watson!
You're so cool. I thought I'd lost you.
Crazy.
I think I've been lost for a while now. Not just to the symbiote. For months I've been trying to be something I'm not.
I'm glad you're back.
Oh, there's a lot more of them.
Sorry.
It wasn't you. And I wasn't me earlier.
Pete, Pete, it was like some kind of hive mind in there. I saw you. And Harry, he was going after this rock.
Oh, the rock that they came from, the asteroid thingamajiggy.
Holly.
Go. I love you.
I love you.
Aww.
Hey, you get my text? City Hall is... This is bad, man. Head in there now.
Yeah, sorry. Things got complicated. I'll be there soon.
You think
Yeah, we had to fight like a sexy
I just saw him
symbiote of
freeze.
Mary Jane
He turned
Watson.
MJ into one of
I had
those
very
symbiotes,
mixed
but
feelings.
worse.
What?
She's okay. She broke out of it. Luckily, faster than I did. Connors thinks I had the suit on too long, and now some of it is left inside of me.
You really meant it when you said things were complicated.
One thing at a time. See you soon, Miles.
I hear that. See you.
Ooh, more crime. How's the himbo zeeps? I'm doing all right, Max. How are things on your side of the world, if you mind me asking?
Hey, Miss Morales. You, make it home safe? I was just... You know, I wanted to make sure...
We're fine. We're fine. And Peter, we're fine, too. But next time, answer my calls.
Trust me. I'll be on my best behavior.
You'd better be. Now go.
Thank you for the hyper himbo, Hendrix. I appreciate it. It's gonna make finding the spider easier. There we go.
This color palette. Why didn't I ever think of this?
Because it's really cool trans colors.
Symbiotes are attacking those shoppers. Stay inside, everyone! I won't let anything happen to you!
Oh, sorry, they're about the advertisements there.
All clear. At least for a little while.
I owe you so much, man.
Meow.
Hendrix demands you drink.
I forgot that I let the ads, like, hang on. I'm gonna have a sip. I need to double check some things. Hang on a second. Ying, refresh. I think I have him for quite an extended period of time now. Action, queue, history, Twitch ad message, ad length 180 seconds. 180 seconds. Yeah, that's 3 minutes, isn't it? How many people have symbiote now? Technically speaking, the symbiote can go into like all kinds of different people, but for now we've got Venom that is bonded to Spider-Man and then later on into Harry Osborn, who he's in right now. We've gotten, I think we had one other symbiote. It wasn't given a proper name. And then we've most recently had Scream, which was bonded to Mary Jane Watson. I don't know if we've had any others yet. So, but we'll see how it goes, won't we? Alrighty then. Everyone out of the advertisement? Yep. Cool. Awesome. So yeah, so I've now conformed to the rest of what's-a-mahoozies, the rest of Twitch by being like, oh yeah, like
this is.
Thank you, Hendrix, for being my biggest fan. I greatly appreciate the support you give me. You are my biggest fan. Fuck Morse. But yeah, so I have now conformed to the rest of the Twitch, like, you know, streaming community that's like, oh, how often do you do advertisements? And it's like 3-minute advertisement per hour. So the 3 minutes could be used more for, like 3 minutes is a lot more of a break this time, which would be great for when I need to go to the bathroom or anything like that.
This is real.
Although I haven't had to go to the bathroom that often while streaming, weirdly enough.
Check the description for a map of shelters throughout the city and evacuation plans for the elderly at risk. The Spider-Men are out there fighting for us, but we gotta keep meeting them halfway. We'll get through this. Together.
Yunk. Flying up. Oh look, it's damage control. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they were organized by Tony Stark, and they do fuck all. Oh, that's Town Hall, with the weird tentacle shit. We've not seen the criminals with symbiotes. The criminals have also been fighting them.
Yeah. Well, good thing the cleanup crew's here.
Me.
This is somehow worse than I thought.
And no sign of Harry.
He has to be here.
Yankee told me there were a bunch of civilians trapped inside. Apparently they were using this place as shelter.
We'll get them out safe and sound. How are there this many?
It's like he's trying to build an army.
If you ask him, he's trying to heal the world.
Getting a bunch of messages on the app from people inside City Hall. They're trying to evacuate onto the roof.
Then we better clear a path.
There's an emergency exit up there. Let's go.
My turn.
Yeah! A lot of electrical nonsense. Bam.
Got a report that a window shattered somewhere in the building.
Come on, Miles! We need to hurry!
Hopefully that gets rid of him. Yes, it does, by the looks of it.
Pressure, you guys, but it's not sounding good in there.
We're working on it!
Yeah, just let us... How the fuck is this guy continually dodging my shit? There we go. Have you heard of the one with the... I have not heard of that alternative, Spider-Verse thing, I'm gonna be real with you. I've not heard of the one where the bully found and ate the spider. There's a big one. Not fair.
Spider-Man!
Uh-oh. No, not the bodega cat! And someone's gonna save it. Oh, hey, it's fucking Martin Lee, Mr. Negative.
All right? Spider-Man!
Nice.
He said there was still some of this thing inside him.
Like a piece of him.
I think I can clear it out of him. But only if I go to the source. I'm going in with you.
They're just waiting for them to do the fun operation inside Peter Parker's mind. Who could imagine what could possibly go wrong?
What's the plan here, Lee?
Find Spider-Man. All of this dark matter should lead us toward him.
Oh. There's the dark matter. Oh, wait, no, that's just...
On my way. Where are we, anyway?
We are inside Spider-Man's mind. You've seen what those creatures do to people around the city. They get in your head, twist your desires.
Mad they stole your routine?
I know you're joking. You're making my point. This thing fears my power for some reason. And we are the only ones who can find where it lives.
So we clear this thing out at the root, and Spider-Man's free?
That's the plan.
All right, then.
Let's do this.
It has a stronger hold on him than I thought.
Spiders Man is a group of spiders that ate Peter and think they are him. Ah, okay, yep.
Use our powers to save Spider-Man. Where do we start?
We have to find the source of his pain. Follow me.
Oh.
Try and lead you to where it's darkest.
Cookie for Engrel. Here's your cookie, Engrel. I missed out on his entire explanation. But I'm guessing we're gonna be fighting something. Cookie for Nick.
Is this
the raft?
Home sweet home.
These are all the people he's put away.
It makes sense why Spider-Man would think about this place.
There's multiples of them.
Because of him.
He's protecting New York.
Yes. Maybe not every problem is solved in itself.
You think I don't know that?
Down here, I think I found something. I think.
Miles!
Uh-oh. Oh, it's Dr. Octavius. Wait, is he dead? I think he's dead. The Vulture is dead, that's for sure. And so is Scorpion. Electro, I'm pretty sure is still alive. Rhino is somewhere. Alright, let's see where that's left us.
A prison break! Never thought I'd be relieved to see you!
I'll make it count then!
Miles, more incoming!
Again?
Come on!
Nothing's working! I can't slow them down!
We have to keep fighting!
Everyone he puts away, they keep coming back!
Must be frustrating. Putting criminals away just for them to escape and cause more pain.
Part of the job. He knows that.
What is?
Believing in second chances. It's like they never stop! That's enough! I get it!
Oh. I wonder if this is like him.
Did you do that?
No.
Oh, that's not.
The symbiote. He killed them all.
The problem solved.
That's not what Pete thinks.
No. But it might be how he feels.
Yeah, thinking and feeling are two very different things.
All these villains. He really thought the suit could solve it all.
Lizard. Mysterio. Vulture is right over there, but Vulture's dead, so we can't solve that.
Is that me?
Scorpion.
Debt I will spend the rest of my life repaying. There's something up ahead.
There's Martin Lee. Oh, there's Dr. Octavius. Alright, let's see, what's here?
May's house.
I haven't asked Pete about her in a long time. What's wrong with me?
When you get caught up in one part of your life, it's easy for the rest to fall away.
Bonk.
Look who's home. Come here.
Aww. Is he like just... Is May's place supposed to be a happy place, or is this like a really deep,
She's dead
like,
because of you.
you know, thing?
I never meant for her to get hurt.
This is your chance to make it up to her then.
I feel something upstairs.
Oh, back in Pete's room, I imagine. Which was down here. Oh, never mind. He doesn't want us going in there.
Your power does have the same effect in here.
Yeah. I guess it does.
Cool. Oh no, that's his desk. I thought that was like another thing. Oh, that's the hole he punched in the wall. That's the hole he punched, like at the start of the thingy-majiggy.
I built my life around this place. This will probably be the closest I'll ever get to seeing the inside of it again. Not that I deserve to.
Lee, why did you do it? What did you want?
Revenge. Norman Osborn's the reason my parents are dead. So I dedicated my life to making his hell. Instead, you lost your father. Peter lost May. And I was too stubborn to see I had become what I despised most. I'm sorry, Miles.
This is another arena.
There. That's the source.
Oh.
Clear this out. We just might be able to save him.
It's all in his mind, though. I don't know why our own little gadgets that are not of our mind would help us here, but... Or him. That would make more sense. Because it's Mr. Negative's, like, domain. That didn't do a lot.
There has to be another way. Maybe...
We have one more option. If I can transfer all of my power into the symbiote, I think I can neutralize it. And free Peter.
You could do that?
What happened to you?
I guess we'll find out.
Why didn't they force you to do that, like, you know, in, like, the first game, I wonder.
If this is my last chance to say anything to you.
Aw.
I won't forgive you.
Wow.
It's just not in me. But I can't carry this hate for you anymore, man. So let's set things right. You and me.
Okay, that's an interesting balance. You can't forgive him for it, but he's beyond a point where it's necessary for him to, you know...
Ready?
Do all that. Time to get ready for Sparky Booms! Yep, more of them.
Let's see how they like this. Why didn't you give me this power sooner? I could have used it.
I didn't give you those.
You didn't?
Oh, this is so cool.
You okay, man?
I'm fine. Just keep fighting.
Oh, some of this is very powerful. I forgot I had that ability as well, like every time.
My day.
Be so fine. Then boom.
Horny.
I wanted to thank you for trusting me.
Yeah, well, like you said, better make it count, right? Maybe try things my way sometime.
I'm not sure I'd make a convincing hero.
Won't know until you try.
Oh, we're done. Okay.
I'm coming!
Oh. Alright. Here we go, here we go, here we... Oh, button mashing time. Bam! Hey, he's no longer, Mr. Negative. He looks dead. Or close to dead, at least. And there's Spider-Man.
This is all my fault.
He could...
Sorry.
He couldn't get past that. Huh.
We did it.
Come on, Spider-Man.
Miles?
Spider-Man! Spider-Man, wake up!
Yep, cool. He's alive. And what the... Oh, this looks cool.
Go! I've got this.
Your anti-venom attacks add anti-venom status to the symbiote enemies, causing additional damage.
Whoa, what is this? Miles, where did this come from?
Leonide went in your head to clear out the symbiote left inside. He had to drain his power into it to save you. It looks like it had an effect.
Wait, you two worked together?
I wasn't about to let you die.
Miles, that's... After so many times saying it, thank you seems soft.
It's okay. I know.
I don't deserve that, kid.
Yeah. Oh, this is so cool. They do such an awesome like way of like demonstrating new abilities, and then I'm just like never touching them again sometimes. All right. Oh. All right. Let's see. Is my mega form gonna do something? Oh nope. Anti. Oh. Nice. Nice.
This is unreal! Hey there, big guy! Let's try this again!
Nice. Oh, this is such a cool... Okay. That is such a cool suit. I wonder if I can go with the earlier styles that we got with Venom and such once we're done with this.
I spent years of my life consumed with vengeance and lost everything for it.
Mm-hmm.
You two reminded me that that's not who I am. When you help someone, you help everyone.
Where are you gonna go?
To set things right. Your way.
Wow. Reforming your greatest enemy. Can't say I've ever done that. Maybe MJ was right. Why would the city need me when it has you? I don't know.
I'm trying to remember if that was...
This city still looks like a Spider-Man job to me. Let's get out of here.
Righty. Oh. Right on, right on. I don't... Has he done, like, a... Yeah, I guess he hasn't done, like, a conversion thing. Because, like, Tombstone was not because of Spider-Man, and there was no one else.
I think Miles just saved my life!
What? What happened?
There was symbiote left inside of me. It started taking over, but Martin Lee gave me his power. It feels different. Like the voices are gone, but the power is still there.
That's incredible. And Pete, just wanted to let you know, I got my byline pulled off that article. And gave my landlord notice.
Does that mean?
It means if the world is gonna get turned into an alien wasteland, there's no one I'd rather be gooed up with than you.
Oh,
wow.
the feeling's mutual.
How sweet.
Keep an eye out for Harry. I'll let you know if I hear anything.
We'll try.
While I look for Harry, I should see what else needs some Spidey help.
Howard, okay. Guys, remember Howard?
Opie and Pidgey are okay.
Howard's the guy with all the pigeons around New York and shit. Alrighty then, Howard.
Spider-Man.
Hey, Howard. Pidgey. How are you both doing?
Oh, we're getting by. Would you like to join us?
Sure.
Sure. What did you need?
Sometimes I just sit here.
The suit looks cool.
Take it all in. Fairies coming in. See it?
I love how there's like an alien like spawning off in the center, but public transport, man. It's gotta run on time. Otherwise, we're gonna be very fucking mad.
Yeah. You and Pidgey getting on board?
Think I'll skip this one. Wait for the next.
What?
Used to love the ferry. Felt like I was sailing off on an adventure.
Howard?
See that yellow skipper? With the black bottom?
Not a bad way to get around.
Oh yeah, that one.
Wish I could take that bumblebee out for a spin.
Hey,
Howard?
Ride it all the way across the river.
Huh? 3 pillars?
Over to the right. Look for the red lights.
You mean those 3 smokestacks? Why there?
I worked in that factory for 20 years. Laid off. Lost my purpose for a while. And then when my wife passed, I lost my heart too. But my birds, they taught me how to fly again. Especially little Pidgey.
I'm so sorry, Howard. What can I do?
Last one. Can you spot Lady Liberty herself? She's way over to the left.
Yeah, I see her. She's over.
Yeah, there she is.
Watch.
What are... Oh, wow. A flock.
I need your help, Spider-Man. I'm finally going on an adventure. But I want to set my birds free first. Let them see the world outside this city.
They are pigeons.
Can you take them up north for me? Somewhere peaceful?
Oh, I don't know. Howard,
We can give it a try.
It's their time. Try a whistle.
Okay, if you're sure. Let's go, birdies! I'll follow the waterfront for a bit, until I think of a new home. Battery Park. Nice memorials and stuff to poop on. Howard wanted you guys to see the world, though. We'll keep looking.
That's-
Let's hit the Brooklyn Bridge. It has some great views.
This is actually nice. Hopefully we don't have to deal with any venom or symbiotes on the way.
Still not right. Ooh, a jet stream. Time to really fly.
Whee!
Hey, Pidgey, do a barrel roll.
That's technically a corkscrew. That's not a barrel roll. A barrel roll would be to actually, like, you know, do, like, pull up, go upside down, and then...
If I was a bird. Oh, wow, a regatta. Let's check it out. Don't worry, birds. We're almost there. Oh, you like our web wings? Means a lot coming from Howard's pigeons.
Think Howard will be dead when you get back? I don't want to think that.
Howard chasing you birds all over the city.
I don't think Howard will be dead if we get back. I don't want Howard to be dead when we get back.
Hey there.
See? He's still alive.
A place for my babies to be free?
Thought of a place over in Queens. A little spot I used to go to with an old friend. Tons of space for Pidgey and the gang.
That sounds nice.
He's totally stealing the boat, though. Oh, if I, absolutely, I'd even give him the thumbs up for that.
Time, Howard. And you can still visit them. Take the train out. Gonna drop these birds off, and I'll be right back. Howard?
Oh.
Okay, this is it. Your new home. Pidgey, you're in charge. Okay, I'm exhausted. I'll hitch the train back.
Don't tell me he's...
Better go check on Howard. He must be missing them already. Howard?
Shit!
Looks like natural. Oh, hey, Spider-Man.
Hey, sorry.
What happened to him?
Friend of mine.
Take all the time you need. If it helps, it looked like he was at peace.
No!
He's finally on that adventure with his wife.
Ah! God damn it!
Don't worry, Howard. The flock is free.
Fuck. It's not fair. Yeah. God damn it. Yunk. Funk. Hey, we got new suits. Alright, so Anti-Venom is now in the spot where the black suit used to be. We can get the Iron Spider-Man suit if we want. Best there is. Oh, that's a cool suit. And we got Crimson Cow. Alright, I'm gonna get this one. Alrighty, and then suit tech. Alright, full up on the damage. We're not yet full on health or on the traversal from the looks of it. Which needs more hero tokens. We're almost... Okay, that one only requires city tokens. Yeah, we'll take that one.
Dr. Connors? Hello?
He's here in my lab.
Oh, that's not great.
Miles, and get over there quick. Miles, meet me at Connors' lab. I think Harry's there, and it doesn't sound good.
On my way.
Alright, we got things to do.
Connors' lab near Central Park. I've got to find a way to get through to Harry. He's in there. I know I can reach him. Just hope he doesn't hurt Connors. Another
There we
nest.
go.
Last one was rough.
Alright, hang on. We gotta get this stuff prepared.
Make some noise. Can't let up. Gotta save these people.
Alright, let's see if that will... Oh, nice! Didn't know that was gonna happen. You are leaving the mission area. Yeah, just send me back, please. Bam. Boom! Oh, I should have done the, There we go.
Just a little while longer.
30 seconds to go. Shouldn't be too bad. Ten seconds. And I'm stuck in the geometry right now. Gotcha.
Yes.
Remember the world where Miles was over? Look, I hate to break it to you guys, but I'm not that knowledgeable in the Marvel like comics and DC. It is ocean wide but pond deep, okay? I'm not familiar with all the I'm not that big of a nerd, okay? I'm himbo, not nerdy.
The gallery pieces when they attacked. That artwork may be valuable, but not as valuable as your lives. Stay safe.
Bonk. Alrighty. So yeah, there's a number of missions we can go on, but we're gonna stick to the main mission to try and get through the main story.
In the midst of the most unprecedented time in modern history, a hero rises to change his costume? What award show is Spider-Man hosting that he feels the need to change his outfit so frequently instead of providing any kind of useful assistance to the authorities? I don't know what his game is, but he seems to be more preoccupied with his wardrobe than the impending doom this city faces.
I don't know. The costume is very important, JJ.
Take comfort in knowing that the Spider-Men have sleek new outfits to wear to make sure they look their best for the end of the world. Has it ever...
Norman, what are you doing?
What is that stuff? Oh, problems. Good dive. I don't know how confident you were in doing that, but you did it with confidence. Oh, hey there, Venom.
Please. Just give me back my son. We are your son. Look at us. We are healthy, strong. This is what you wanted.
I don't know.
Stop, Harry! We can help you!
He's not looking for help at this point. Now, is Connors gonna get symbioted? Oh. Oh, there's the rock.
Please don't.
Oh, it's two pieces. Oh, he's very occupied on his goal right now. And he's gone.
What's he gonna do with that thing? I think we're about to find out. You need to know.
Harry's gone. Host and symbiote are perfectly fused.
I'll find a way to save him.
You can't. But you can still stop the symbiote.
How?
Not great.
By killing the host.
That's not a good option. I don't know if Norman's even gonna get behind that one.
Please. Save my boy.
Yeah, those are two completely different things. Not great. Not great whatsoever. Alrighty then. That is a lot of venom. A lot of tendrils. A lot of tentacles.
Sipping Time sponsored by Hendrix.
Will do. Ah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh my god.
Spider-Man, I know you're seeing what I'm seeing right now. We've got a lot of New Yorkers being attacked by these things.
I'm on it. Stay safe out there.
God damn.
Can anyone hear me?
Just gonna do the mega punch stuff. Get this over with quickly. Look how quickly we're getting through all these guys. Got him.
All clear.
It's almost 2. Yeah, maybe getting some sleep might be a good idea. Sleep might be good.
Those civilians are in trouble. I'm coming.
We got a lot of work to do, don't we?
Those symbiotes won't stop until they get inside. I'll take care of these things. Just stay inside the bus.
Did it. Alright, cool. They're out. Next Spider-Man.
No kidding. There are nests popping up everywhere. Sending you coordinates now.
Got it.
Watch yourself out there, man. This is something else.
It is an Avengers level threat, is what it is.
I'll find you, buddy. I'll find you.
Where are the fucking Avengers? There's Avengers Tower. There's the Baxter's building for the Fantastic Four. Like, I feel like this cannot be avoided. Like, the first Spider-Man, that one could be kind of avoided because it's like a lot of small-town problems, but this one's like an entire city about to be like the spawning point of an alien invasion. This one feels like an international threat. There we go. You should also make a Venom shirt? Tempting. What the?
That suit's not an alien, is it?
What is that suit?
It's time for a Miles Morales original, you know? One of one.
It looks good.
When? Were you working on that before?
What happened, man?
Harry got the meteorite. I couldn't stop him. Connor said we can't save him, so we have... I can't lose him, Miles.
You're gonna have to, unfortunately.
I saw May when I was... in your head. It's not your fault, Pete. She wanted to save you. To save all of us.
She never thought about herself. Even when she was struggling to breathe.
If May, my dad, if they were here, they would want us to stop thinking about them. They'd want us to help people, to fight. Harry's still in there. And we're gonna fight like hell to get him back.
Call the play, coach.
Let's split up. Cover more ground. You find the meteorite, I'll clear that nest out.
You got it, Spider-Man.
Looks like we got our work cut out for us. Haley is offline. I don't know if she's gonna see that.
Ready to get started. Gotta clear it out and move on to the next.
Alrighty.
Countdown begins.
Looks like that scares you, huh? I must be onto something important for you to try to defend yourself like this. What?
Oh, no. We now have to deal with a symbiote that's got, like, venom in him, doesn't he?
Come here, Miles.
Where's that voice coming from? I can't let them get to the heart. How's it going, Spider-Man? I think I'm almost done clearing this nest. But Pete, I'm hearing these voices.
I hear them too.
Keep looking for that meteorite. Don't let him get in your head. That's not Harry talking.
Right. You're right. Call me when you finish up.
Stay focused, Pete.
Got a minute to go of all this.
Your time's running out.
There we go.
This better work.
There we are, and behold.
That did it.
There. Spider-Man is victorious.
It's still here. No way that thing is talking to me.
Come with us.
Where the fuck are you doing? And once again, Miles Morales has to have the fun time in the Mindscape.
Where am I?
You are home. Finally, you are where you belong.
Is this what happens when people turn into symbiotes?
You are safe here. Everyone you love is safe here.
My head. I have to find a way out.
Why would you leave? We are here. You can be too. You, Peter, us.
This isn't where I belong, Harry. Neither do you. Come on, Miles. Come on.
Let us heal you. Bring us Peter.
That is not fair.
Please join us.
Oh, but that's where the rock is, so I suppose we're going to need to... We're gonna need to deal with that. Nice. We're out.
Hello.
Hi, Code.
I saw the meteorite. It's under the Harlem subway station, next to the bridge.
We are going through Spider-Man. He's got his anti-Venom costume now, and he can do Venom abilities again.
Harry, he's after you. I have to go help Haley, but just wait, all right?
Whoa, whoa, back up. What happened?
I got sucked into the hive mind. Saw this vision of the meteorite underground. But I've got a bad feeling.
You think Harry's there?
You serious, Pete? Just give me 10 minutes. You cannot do this alone.
Right. Call me when you're done. Sorry, Miles, but I can't waste any time.
Aw, we're not even gonna give him, like, the time of day?
Here's the subway entrance. Miles has to be right. That's where the meteorite is. Just have to clear out this bridge. Everyone stay in your cars. I won't let them hurt you. Harry! Venom! I know you're here!
You found us.
Yes, I'm here, buddy! I know! Just hang on! I'm coming!
I wonder what happens if we actually wait for Miles, like, for 10 minutes. Like, I wonder what would happen. I'm honestly curious what would happen if, like, 10 minutes in-game time went off. Like, would it be or because we're in, like, this stage of the mission, like, 10 minutes ain't gonna matter.
Come on, come on! They're coming out of the subway tunnel! The meteorite has to be underground. Venom! Please talk to me! I have to get underground. I can't leave these people behind.
There we go. Oh, here comes a big guy again.
Two of you? Not now! I don't have time for this. Maybe? No. Come on, Spider-Man. Almost done. Harry! Can you hear me? I'll find you, buddy. Just stay down!
Got him. Hi there, Zarix. Welcome again. How's it going? You was out. Oh, Code was out bowling for work. I missed that message. Sorry about that.
All good with Haley?
Oh, you need to check out some new
Only a few more minutes. Hang tight.
You need to check out some of the new costumes I've gotten. So that one Miles has right now.
No!
There's no rhyme or reason for how he got to that, but he has it now. So. Nice.
What are you doing here?
These monsters attacked, and I offered up the center, for protection, whatever. Why are you here? Shouldn't you be out there fighting?
I was trying to save you.
They're just like, cowabunga.
I like you so much, and I think you like me. Do you want to go out?
Does she know he's Miles? I guess she must know he's Miles. You're just relaxing after a stressful day? Fair enough.
Is that a
so,
yes?
Fair enough. If a stressful day needs you to, like, relax watching dumb me playing through a game that I have, like, very little following of the universe it comes from, then sure.
Well, it's a date then. After all this is over.
Alrighty. All right, hopefully this is an opportunity for us to get to show you the different outfits.
I'm on the way.
Or this was all just cinematic to have us avoid the part where Peter gets got by Venom again.
Harry!
Nope, it is. All right, cool. We're here.
Hey, it's Harry. Leave a message.
Hey, buddy. I talked to Dr. Connors. He says you're too far gone, but I know that's not true. Harry, I messed up. I was terrible to you. Your dream, our dream, healing the world. I'm sorry.
All right, suit time. So this is the suit we have right now, is the anti-venom suit. And I've been unlocking suits as we go along. We can go for the classic, you know, the classic black suit from the comics. And this is what it looks like when it's like just, you know, what, some Mahoozies? I have not unlocked any of like the special ones from side missions because I did not do side missions between the time from last stream to now. I have been playing Minecraft with some buddies who have hosted a Vault Hunter server for them locally or in the US, so I've been very fortunate to join in on them that. So this is the evolved suit. Let's see if there's like... No. Alright. And then we've got responsibilities. Best there is, so we got this one. Crimson Cowl, Across the Spider-Verse, 56, Eureka. This one was like kind of one of my favorite of like the off the idea, like because this is the Mysterio thing. Hunter bases we've not yet done. That requires the Cultural Museum done. We need to play further through the game for that one. It looks fucking hella crazy. For now, we're gonna keep like... You know what? Let's get the Across the Spider-Verse. Let's get him dressed up in that. Should be good. And we have skills to unlock. Alright. So, let's see. Surge mode lasts longer. That's exactly what we want. Abilities recharge in half the time while in surge mode. Yep. Alrighty. And then that's his Miles Morales one. Focus is filled when Venom is used. Gain is increased. Have a small chance to become critically stunned, making them available for a finisher without using the focus bar. Okay, so we've unlocked everything on that side. So now it's just everything on this thing. If 4 more enemies are the impact when they are pulled together generates 3 lightning bolts that shock additional. Gains a second chance. Interesting. How many points? I got 6 points left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so let's go 1, 2. Partially recharge for each hit. And then give off a Venom Cloud, which can heal you, recharge your abilities, and even stun enemies. Evolved Venom Clouds detonate and knock enemies down. Alright, let's go for the Thunder Boom thing. Advertisement is running right now, so this is probably a better time to do this whole looking at abilities nonsense. Galvanize, Shock, and Awe. After hitting an enemy with Galvanize, hold to yank they down from the air, causing a damaging bioelectric blast around the lighting spot. Abilities are partially recharged. Venom gives off Venom abilities. Yeah, let's purchase that one. We've done all that we need to here. Yep, we're gonna stick to all the anti-venom stuff. Nice. Going Going to sleep now. Have a great rest of your stream. Not to worry, Hendrix. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming along. Thank you for the 20 months of subscription. I very much appreciate it. I hope you're doing well.
Glug, glub, glug, glub, glug.
Hopefully better than me as I go and take a sip. There we go. Hey! Why you gotta go steal my shirt code? We're in the end game moments here. Also, is there a... Oh, wait, hang on. It's probably gonna... Why is it telling... Oh, it's because I can upgrade this suit. So if I wanted, I can look like this. Alright. Back to that suit. This one, you can stick to that. Did I? Oh, I've not been able to upgrade anything, but I've upgraded all that. And then these are all our... So that's the main mission. 29 out of 31. So we're 3 missions away from finishing the main mission. So hopefully we'll be able to get through, like...
Check out my
pecs, little man. Hopefully we'll be able to get through this mission, or we'll be able to get through this main mission in this stream alone. So, should be good. No sign missions. Friendly Neighborhood has a lot more to do. We've done all the Prowler stashes. We got way more of the Flame. We got 3 more of the EMF. We gotta do Cultural Center. We got so many to do of the Hunter Blinds, Hunter Bases. Brooklyn Visions is done. 3 more of the Unidentified Targets. 5 more of the Nests. It's a very cool statue. Hey, spider bots. So we found 30 out of 42 spider bots. This is a lot of spider bots. Anya Corazon. That one's got a Brooklyn style. I feel like there's something AC with it. Miles Morales, Future Foundation, Spider-Punk, J. Jonah Jameson. Alright, so we still got a few more to go with those. Alrighty then. Are we ready for trying to get through the last 3 missions? Hopefully we'll be able to get through this before the end of the night. Alright, so we're not touching the... Yep, we're not touching any of the symbiote tendril nonsense. There we go. Jump through.
You're here.
Yes, I am here.
Are you finally ready?
Harry, I can't.
Oh boy.
I want to help you, Harry! Oh no.
Spider-Man, where are you? Did you go down there?
You were right. It has to be here. He has to... I'm sorry, I couldn't...
I know, man. I'll try to find a way inside.
It's gonna be okay! Everyone's gonna be okay!
Okay, the flashing lights is not helpful, I'm sorry to say.
Harry! Harry, talk to me!
Please help us, Peter. We need you.
I'm trying, buddy. I just need that meter.
That's not Harry, that's Venom. He's tricking you. He said we. God damn, that's a big spore. That's not good.
I'm not seeing a rock.
No? Hold on, I'm nearly to you.
Thanks for coming, Pete. We want to show you something.
Not
Harry, what are you?
We are healed. Finally free. We can give that gift to everyone.
Not a great idea. Like, I liked how sexy Mary Jane looked as Scream, but that's not for everyone. Alright, so we need to find the rock.
Heal the world. Together.
Yeah, Miles!
Not cool.
Hell yeah.
We can't stay here.
We're gonna need to clear a path shortly. Oh boy.
You good, man?
Hopefully so.
We need to call MJ. I know where the meteorite is.
Where and how is MJ gonna help us?
MJ, we all need to meet up at May's house.
What's going on out there, guys?
It's the meteorite that the symbiote arrived in. He's using it to transform the city. I know where it is.
And we're gonna steal it. Time to game plan.
I'm in. See you guys at home.
Alrighty. 2 more levels. We're almost fully upgraded everything in our skill. Actually, how far away are we from fully upgrading everything in our skill tree? We've upgraded everything on Harry. Oh, sorry, on Peter. We've upgraded everything that's shared between us. We are 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3. All right, so we're really close. So we're 3 points away from the looks of it. So we're gonna need to... I reckon we can do a... On our way to the thingamajiggy, we can probably get away with doing a nest or something. The nest should be easy enough to do as Peter of all things. There we are. And then fly up. There's like 10 of them, and I still got like another 5 to do, so... Bam.
Listeners, I implore you, stay inside your homes. Lock the doors. Board the windows. Trust no one. The city is overrun with a miasma of massive, oppressive tendrils emanating from the ground beneath our feet, spawning creatures from what feels like hell itself. They're capturing us, converting us, and will soon overtake us. Don't give them the chance. While the government sits on its hands, my loyal listeners have taken to the forums, looking for any signs of weakness these creatures show. We will defend ourselves. We know we can't count on the Spider-Men to save us. If this last week's events have proven anything beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's that the heroes make things worse. In the meantime, stay safe.
Hey! Need a dance partner?
I've been waiting.
We already took damage. That's a shame.
Oh, you're done now.
There we go. Oh, they're all in the fucking... Got him.
Thanks for the assist. Just trying to keep up with you.
Alright, where is that symbiote thing we saw earlier? There it is. I did not do that correctly. Oop. Lol, we can still do the flame side missions in the middle of all this aliens shit if we wanted to. Brilliant. Right. I wonder if this game has a new game plus. It will probably unlock, like, after most of us get through this. It'll definitely be a planned DLC thing, that's for sure.
Don't freak out, Pete.
Alrighty then.
Okay.
We now have to protect 2 hearts.
I'm ready. They keep coming!
And Bink. Alright, another... Hi there, Capricious. Yes, it is a symbiote nest because I need some, like, skill points to get through the last, like, 2 or 3 skills Miles Morales still has in him. And the anti-venom suit is probably the best one for dealing with the symbiote nests with the abilities it has. So I just need to keep it at a high integrity for the next 40 seconds.
Almost there!
There we go. Got him! Arrow Wind Shield Maiden is so fucking good. Like, in Magic the Gathering or in Lord of the Rings? Because she is pretty badass in Lord of the Rings. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't know what her card is like in, What's-a-Mahoozy, Magic the Gathering. I've not read up on a lot of Magic the Gathering cards for a while now. Actually, to be honest with you, I think ever since I've moved in to this new place, I have not gotten into Magic the Gathering because it's just been so expensive. And I've put myself in a scenario of, like, the rent here costs more than 30% of my income, so... Like, the take-home pay of my income, not the before-tax stuff. So, it's just been a case of, without that extra 10%, it's like, What's-a-Mahoozies. Just not doing a lot of the normal extra stuff I would do, like purchasing commissions or buying the Magic the Gathering cards. You swept in Commander? Nice! Good work in winning in Commander. It's usually fairly difficult. This is your last chance to collect resources to upgrade gear before the end of the story. Alrighty then. Manual save that shit. And then we'll create a new manual save, so then that way You sent me the card in Discord? Noted. And then I'll save a second manual save, so then that way we can refer to that one before going into the final mission, in case it's some weird thing where it's like, oh, you can't do that while, like, just before a mission. We have not unlocked any new skills. Increases the volley, does an additional burst. Might be best getting this ricochet. Oh, can't do anything with that ricochet. We can't get any of those. All right. We should be fine. We should be A-okay.
Central Park Reservoir.
The water system.
A pet rock.
Goo everywhere, adding more and more people to the hive mind.
Did you...
All those symbiotes get out of Manhattan?
Goodbye, Earth. Hello, planet Goo.
Alright. But...
The meteorite is the source of all the power, right? Creating goo, creating symbiotes. But it was useless until Harry repaired it.
Yeah. And that particle accelerator is what damaged it in the first place. Cut off a piece at low power.
Right, so what if we crank the power up?
And just fully destroy it.
Might destroy it.
And free everyone connected to the hive mind.
Theoretically.
But that reservoir's gotta be mobbed with symbiotes. And you know Harry's not gonna let that rock out of his sight.
Unless he sees something he wants more. Me.
Aw, you think you're...
You know, for illustrative purposes.
Cool, alright, sure, that's the reason why.
He thinks he's healing the world. But the dream isn't complete without...
his best friend beside him.
I can lead Harry away from the meteorite.
And I can handle all the symbiotes.
While I grab the space rock.
And then
for illustrative purposes.
All right.
And then...
Fire up the accelerator?
Who's gonna fire up the accelerator? Because that takes a lot of... That takes a lot of time.
Churros?
Theoretically.
Do you like Resident Evil? I've played a few of the Resident Evils. I've played the remake of 2, the remake of 4. I've played 7 and 8. So I've gone through like half of Resident Evil, and it's kind of okay. It's all right. I like it.
Heal the world.
For real this time.
Bonk. Let's do this. I don't know why. It just looks like a cum hand, the way they did the thing. Oh, she didn't totally total her motorcycle. Good for her. Rightio.
So the meteorite is somewhere in that thing?
So are Harry and his friends.
Here. I figured you could use a sonic touch.
Nice.
They're just standing there. What are they waiting for?
They're waiting for Venom is my guess. Or for Peter. One of the two.
Look.
Whoever comes first.
I can't thank you both enough. For everything.
Come on, bro. We're the Spider team.
Don't anyone forget it.
Hey, buddy!
Alrighty.
You gonna sit in there and play with your pet rock all night? It's you and me, Harry. Like we always wanted.
Our gift will finally be yours.
Here's the thing, though.
Oh! How? Oh, just because of the anti-venom powers, that's why. Nice. Alright, so this is definitely an MJ mission if the first two bits are like, oh, we're just gonna pull things away for you.
MJ, now!
Oh, that's cool. Imagine if Spider-Man, like, told the police, hey, this is what you want. A sonic gun. Don't press it more than once. You'll rupture their eardrums. But otherwise, it's great. Fucking
You wanted a story,
beautiful.
Watson. What was that? A dead end? No. There has to be a way in.
Oh. I'm an idiot. I should have known better.
I hope they made it out.
Here we go. God damn it.
What the hell?
I'm guessing Venom wasn't the only super symbiote here.
Just hang on!
Alright, let's get moving, let's get moving. Nice. Alright, so this is just like a...
Not good, not good.
Nice.
Not leaving without that rock. The meteorite. Gotta get down there.
Alright, can I just...
Oh no, very bad.
Alrighty, I thought I could like do a stealth hit on the symbiote, but that's clearly not how this is gonna work. We're gonna go into this fucking thing guns blazing.
Oh no, very bad.
Nice. I'm guessing that's the meteorite.
The rest of the hive.
Alrighty. We're gonna pull this out and we're gonna have a lot of problems. It's just gonna be a case of the entire web is exposed. And... a new hand touches the beacon. Let's go. Let's do this.
That logo on the rock is the mark of Null.
Yeah, because they're all symbiotes and shit, so... I just assumed it's something important for the symbiotes because it's a spiral. Because a lot of cults use spirals.
Oh, crap.
There we go.
You're right. It feels alive. Gotta get out of here.
Ah!
If I get this rock back, it's game over.
Let's get moving, let's get moving.
Please let this lead somewhere good.
I'm glad Mary Jane's stealth mission isn't like that heavily reliant on stealth. I can just start aiming and shooting like a proper American.
The sky. Almost out of this hellhole.
The spiral was first used when Carnage became a god/cult leader trying to bring back Null.
Okay. Headshot. go. Oh, it's a big dude.
You got the Hey, I think that hurt it.
Yeah! That was so easy. Let's go. Damn, why don't the Spider-Men use that more often?
Time to go, Miles.
Like, look at that. Just absolutely flooring them. 1 hit in the head or 3 in the body. It's great.
You ready?
She'll do her thing. You do your thing now.
Pretty sure your +1 isn't invited to our high school reunion, Harry! Harry?
He's above you, isn't he? Yep. Work for Oscorp. What a brilliant idea. No.
This is where we became best friends.
Yeah. It is.
And now it's where we become brothers.
Work for Oscorp. If that is not like a fucking like evil look for Oscorp, I don't know what will be.
Please, remember everything we've been through! Did you forget about Flash kicking our asses for 4 years?
We were weak then.
But we had each other! What is he doing? Enough!
Darn, I did not take care of my health very well then.
Join us.
Please, remember everything we've been through! Did you forget about Flash kicking our asses for 4 years?
We were weak then.
But we had each other! He's infecting everything around us! Can't get caught in that stuff again!
Yeah, I don't want to get bitten by his head. He was able to bite off Kraven, which was crazy.
You came over every single day after school! And even slept over after your mom got sick!
We couldn't feel like that.
When you lost her, that day on the football field, I was there! Always have been!
Till we got sick again. You abandoned us while we were fighting for our lives.
No, do not.
I was trying to save you!
Didn't feel like that to us. We're giving you a chance.
Ah! Oh, he bit me. He fucking bit me. Well, that's unfair.
You want to join us?
No, not really. There we go.
Why do you keep fighting us?
You're not giving me a choice! Whoa, symbiote's dropping in. Free Harry with more anti-venom!
After everything we've done for you.
Research to defeat enraged Venom. Ah. So we have to hit so he's enraged at this point.
Keep fighting us!
You're not giving me a choice! Whoa, symbiote's dropping in. Stay calm! Take him out one at a time! Not working!
They hit hard. Alrighty. And nearly all of my things are like on cooldown. Oh yeah, yeah.
Not giving me a choice! Whoa, symbiote's dropping in. Not working! Stay calm!
Stay calm gets punched. Yeah, he hits for quite a bit. So it's gonna feel a little more like
Symbiote's dropping in. Not working! Stay calm! Take him out one at a time!
Ow, not fair. Yeah! He hits like an absolute tank, that is true.
We know what's best for you, for everyone. We gave you everything you ever wanted, and you threw us away.
I should have been better! I'm so sorry!
And you replaced us with Miles. We poisoned you against us even more.
No! He saved me! Just like I'll save you!
I thought I could dodge. I thought I dodged underneath. Oh, he's... He did the fucking slam!
We've never been good enough for you or Dad.
It's messing with your head, Harry! You're my best friend!
Then why don't you trust us?
Or these guys? I trust you, Harry! Not that thing you're wearing!
I'm not a thing.
Brute force isn't working! Gotta be a better way! Get free Harry with more anti-venom!
There's gotta be a... Oop. Oh, that was a waste. Ow.
Now or never.
Alright, here we go, here we go. Damn, the music is going off. Sometimes he jumps, sometimes he just gets really tall. Weird.
Doesn't matter what you do to me. I'm never gonna heal the world with you. Not like this.
The meteorite. You took it from us.
Oh. Oh. Shit, he's got wings now. And they're red for some reason. I didn't think they'd be red. Where is all of that venom? It's like the law of conservation doesn't it doesn't exist for them. No, not since they've gotten the venom.
Aliens are mad we took their stuff.
Yeah, well, they started it.
All right, so now we're heading to a Hi, Zapper. We're heading to a particle accelerator. So then that way we can crank it up to max, throw the meteorite in there, and blast it into smithereens, destroying it. It will make total sense, I swear.
MJ, you hearing that?
And there's Venom. Okay, so his wings change from red to white at times. Weirdy. And he ain't happy. Ow. Alright, now we fight as Miles against Venom, I imagine. We're basically destroying Harry's life work right now.
Let's just get him out of here.
We need to get the particle accelerator, like, up and running as well, though, don't forget. A lot is having to happen right now.
Go, Miles, I've got him. Go!
When the hell did he get wings? You're not getting this rock, man.
Our future doesn't belong to you.
Trust me, don't want your future. I need to get up to him. Cool stuff to slow him down.
Oh. Yeah, Venom.
I promise, Harry, that I fight for you.
You don't care about us. You don't know us.
I know you talk to your mom, just like I talked to my dad. Remember? What you saying right now?
That we are so close.
I'm not gonna let Pete down, Harry.
He'll understand. This is his dream too.
Sorry, Harry. Heard enough about this nightmare.
Yeah. Blowing shit up with venom. Okay, I don't know if the particle, like, I raised this before, the last time we were inside the particle accelerator. I don't imagine the particle accelerator pipes would be that big.
He has us now.
Oh, what's happening? Oh, they're not great. Nice.
You're not doing this for Pete. You're doing this for yourself.
You're holding Q back. You took him away from us.
Took him away? What the hell are you talking about? Need to hit him with more blue sparks.
In the forest, we remember what you did.
Harry! Man, that's the symbiote talking, not you!
You were jealous. That's why you pushed us apart.
Maybe I was, but Pete wasn't Pete! Thought I clipped his wings!
You think you're better than us, don't you?
This ain't about who's better! I just prefer you without the psycho alien on! Doesn't matter if you like me or not. I'm here for you. You can't see it now, but we're not so different, man.
Pete's better off without you. We all are.
Let's end this.
Nearly dead there, way more times than I should have tried. He is very enraged, and he's just fucking ripping a Terran.
We gave you our chance.
Oh, is he gonna use the electrical thingy-majiggy to, like... Yeah! Eat up.
Harry!
Pete?
Yeah, he's not giving up now, is he?
Zeebs is a cutie.
I deny being a cutie, furry cures. Oh, where are they taking us? Oh, really? You're just gonna leave us behind? Not fair.
Give me back my friend!
We are your friend.
Not Venom. Harry's our friend.
What's happening? Just hang on, buddy! Please. No. Leave him alone.
Not doing too well. Oh, yay! Okay, now it's Miles' turn to start doing oh.
Go, Miles!
Oh. Yeah! Kick him in the nut. It is honestly fun just double teaming on Venom like that. Just be like kick one at a time. Fantastic.
You ready to finish this?
Whip to keep it there. The pain would probably be intense. That's one way to start up the particle accelerator. Once again, Peter just grabs the tongue. It's just like rip. Nice.
Fight, Harry! Fight! I can't. I'm done. Yeah.
Not yet.
To kill us.
The whip. And stop flying away.
Harry! Please!
Oh. Oh, we gotta hold it down to the very bottom, don't we? He's not gonna make it, is he?
I'm done.
Also, when did you lose your mask during that sequence?
We don't. It'll kill them. And then it'll kill you. Let's heal the world, Pete. Together.
Not great. 2 Peters? So there's Miles Morales, and then there's Harry Osborn, that's the Venom, and then the normal Spider-Man is Peter Parker, as everyone knows. Oh, and then MJ's got a gun. A very powerful gun, apparently. Once again, thwipping and making sure that it's still there. Oh, god damn you.
Now, Pete!
I don't know if Harry's gonna survive that. And let's see how it goes. I almost missed that button press. And Harry's gonna die after this, isn't he? Most likely, unfortunately. Oh wait, but there's all the symbiotes in the city as well that we still need to take care of post-game. I don't think crying is gonna bring him back after this. Oh, that's a very bright fucking light. It's Marvel, not Disney. And plus, Spider-Man is still technically under Sony, so not Disney. Oh, look at everyone coming back to normal. Alright, so that's toast. And I'm guessing that's the symbiote Venom. Gone as well.
We did it!
Yay, Miles is alive. Sony will make a Zelda movie. I did hear about that news. Everyone is wishing that they do not fuck that up. Because it's going to be a live-action Zelda film, as far as I know, as well. It's not going to be a cartoon like it is for Mario.
I'm sorry.
Wait, are you really going to resurrect him with a CPR?
I don't know if it's gonna work, but I gotta try.
He's gonna CPR Harry to try and save him, because the reason they used the symbiote is because he had an incurable disease. Let's give it a try. Also there, hi Blue. He's probably just gonna have like a... Well, that's not great. Maybe he's just sleeping. Hospital. Crying does not work. That was electricity venom punch nonsense coming, or spider venom from Miles Morales. That is not crying. Gotta give Norman a reason to become the Goblin. Actually, that is true. We have not seen the Green Goblin in either of the Spider-Man games, either previously or this one. So, is Miles wearing... He's not wearing them under the suit. He's wearing... Like, I don't know if you just saw it just then. He's not wearing the Jordans under the suit. He's wearing the Jordans with the suit. They're right there, out in the open.
Pulse is weak. We gotta move.
What have you done?
What have you done to him?
I'm sorry.
I'm coming with you, wait.
God, everyone's just disheveled and shit. Everyone's just fucking broken.
There are traces of brain activity, but his chances of coming back are very slim.
Uh-huh. So it's another... Oh, look, he's in green.
Just keep him alive.
What do you know?
Zeebs is a cutie.
I deny that statement, Furry Cures. A new cane. Don't know what good it will do. He barely has the brain power to even, like, you know, wake up and walk around. That window just is not having a day. Every, like... That's the same window Harry threw his fucking cane at. It was just like, ah, bonk.
Why?
That cane, just any window, is just like, bang. Bonk. Oh, there's a
Get the G serum ready. ASAP.
That's foreshadowing. G serum. AKA Green Goblin inator.
For the last
AKA
few years,
Goblin
tragedy has
serum.
tried to tear the city apart. But we somehow kept going.
I reckon it would be for
We
green.
battled sickness, evil.
If they're gonna pick, it's either gonna be genome.
We are
Look at what one of my moderators wrote. Look what Furry Cures wrote. The gay serum.
Lost hope.
You can't say, what right do you have to say that?
To heal. We're all ready to return to normal, but what is normal? What if it no longer exists? Over the last half hour, I've talked about how these events have changed me.
Oh, cool. She started a podcast.
What about you?
She went from like a reporter
Ongoing
to
series, I will be talking with
a
people throughout
podcast.
the city, exploring our new behaviors, new routines, new thoughts and feelings.
Blue wrote it, not Furry Cures. That's why I said, look what one of my moderators said.
This has been Mary Jane Watson, and you're listening to The New Normal.
I don't know if that's the best name you can give to a podcast. There's better names. Like you could have just gone MJ Report
Done.
or MJ City or something. I don't know.
In a minute, I want to show you something first.
Okay.
I think we're close to the end.
In it.
Yum, I'll take those.
It's nice that they're together. I was worried the mom would die or something like that. I was worried they would do some sort of a cheap shot like that. Like I knew Harry wasn't going to be around till the end of it unless Venom could still be around, but if you're not going to get Venom, we're going to Oh. What donations? Oh, probably all of Mary's old shit. Who knows? Alrighty. This has to be after COVID, though.
Pete.
The Emily May Foundation. Oh, he's continuing it. Hopefully so. Spider alert. Gotta keep it ambiguous.
Have you talked to Miles about?
Not yet.
You ready?
Miles. I've been meaning to talk to you about something. I mean, I have been talking to you all the time. It's great to talk. So many good talks.
How can they afford a house in this economy? Oh, you were not here at the beginning, Rory. Rory, that's Aunt May's home, and he inherited it, and he still had to take out a mortgage, and the mortgage repayments were fucking terrible. He missed a payment. He's owing like $4+ grand a month to the bank. Like it's a fucking like financial sinkhole while they were still living separately and such.
What I should have been talking to you about, Pete. Wait, let me start again.
I got this. All of it. Go be Peter Parker for a while.
Are you sure? It's a big city.
I can handle it. As long as I can still call you for advice.
You don't need it.
Maybe not now, but there'll come a time.
I'm here for you. Always.
Big bro.
Oh yeah, no. This is a separate universe, so this isn't related to the Marvel Spider-Man that we've got in this MCU, or the Amazing Spider-Man, or the Sam Raimi universe. It just takes a lot of elements from there. So, like, for example, so it does fit in the The whole point of the multiverse is... Oh, hang on, the kissing scene. Look at them. Look at them kiss. Except the PS4, Spooderman shows up into the Spider-Verse. There are so many references across the Spider-Verse. So, and I think potentially we could still get that here. Every time I see the phrase "heal the world," I keep thinking of fucking Bo Burnham's song where it's like healing the world through comedy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So, yeah, it looks like it's done. Is there a post-credit scene? Normally we don't have to stay till the end for these. Let's have a look. This is either the raft or it's another Oscorp thingy-madoog. Oh, it's Otto Octavius. He was alive. What do you know?
The Spider-Men. You know who they are, don't you?
Why?
Is he gonna tell? I don't think he will.
They ruined my son.
Good. We all have to experience loss. Even you, Norman.
Yeah, as if Octavius was ever gonna help him.
The final chapter.
Ooh. I wonder if that's imposing that there's going to be a fucking sequel. Do I recognize any of these names? Nope. None of these names ring a bell. Venom Doc Ock would be slick. They could also, like, if they ever wanted to, like, in the sequel, like, just do Doc Ock taking over Peter Parker's body, because that was a recent thing. An additional cast for Kraven's Hunters. The Cult of Flame, utilizing... Oh! Clifford Chapin! He's, what's-a-mahoozy from Beastars. Let's see. Is there any other names I recognize? This is some Silence of the Lambs shit. Oh yeah. Anytime people want to create prison cells for like charismatic people, they're gonna follow like Hannibal Lecter nonsense. Hey! You stole my shirt again! So what now? We still have an hour left? It's 9 p.m. Like, I'm pretty sure it's still 9 p.m. Thank you for the hyper himbo. Hey, look, Clifford Chapin again. It's 12, not 9. It's 9 p.m. where I live. Alrighty. Sorry, I'm just sort of... Oh. Another sequel. Or another, post-credit. How many post-credit scenes is there going to be? Thank you for the hyper himbo. Hi.
Haley, hi. Hope you're hungry.
Alright, it looks like it's gonna be a double date between Miles and Haley, and Rio is like his mom and whoever her date is. Incredible. But yeah, it's 9 p.m. for me here in Queensland because Queensland time, and we don't fuck around with daylight savings. That's a dumb idea. Yeah, no, she's deaf. For some reason, like, she has hearing aids in. I don't know if they've designed it that fashion because they...
Volunteering in...
I don't know if they've still designed it that way because to make it, like, more clear that it's a hearing aid and it's like, oh, she has a hearing aid because she's deaf. Or if it's just bringing awareness that, like, even, like, hearing aids don't, you know, do the whole, you know, fully cure of deaf thing, because that's normally a whole ton of other shit that needs to happen, but...
I'm trying to live up to his hero dad.
Yeah, whatever. I like that version of a person.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's the, scarf she gave him. In the Miles Morales game, she gave him she gave Miles the scarf.
Yeah.
And then you just tug and kiss. Was she deaf the last? Yeah, no, she was deaf the last game as well. Like, she didn't suddenly go deaf in between the events of Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2. So.
Hi. Miles, Haley.
It would have been hilarious if...
Albert.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Oh, and this is my daughter, Cindy.
Am I supposed to know who Cindy is?
Say hello to Cindy Moon, also known as Silkor, also known as the woman who was bitten by the same spider that bit Peter, and now the two of them can't stop ducking when they get near each other.
Really? They had to do that.
Really?
Congratulations! You have finished the main story, but both Peter and Miles are still able to continue the adventure. You can now start a fresh adventure with ultimate difficulty.
What's up, New York? Someone's reporting something dangerous in their yard. Sounds like a job for me.
There we go.
Don't tell. You're my favorite Spider-Man.
So yeah, look at this. He's wearing Jordans. All right, let's have a look at all the costumes before an advertisement is probably going to hit off, and unfortunately I can't delay it any further. So that's his Evolve suit. This is Family Business. I don't know where he got Family Business. His classic suit. This is the suit he got when he was upgraded, so slight differences there. Track, Brooklyn.
In the comics, she was locked in a vault to protect her from the Spider-Man eat vamps. When Peter saves her, they pretty much end up doing the dirty.
You know way too much about Marvel. You need to be playing these Marvel games, Code.
Don't make me send you to Jesus myself.
Fucking try me. So there's Into the Spider-Verse, The Programmable, Strike, Agent Shield, The Great Responsibility. Ooh! That's sexy. That's scary. Oh, god damn it.
Hello.
Hi, Danny. Welcome to the stream. It's about to end. So yeah, oh, and then there's Across the Spider-Verse, which is one of my faves. Continue playing through the game. Complete all the hunter bases. Complete all the cultural missions. Meanwhile, for Spider-Man, hey, we can swap back to, like, the symbiote if we want to. Nice. So we have black suit, and then black suit can change into... That's cool. And then we've got Anti-Venom, Kumo, the advanced suit, Scarlet, our classic hybrid. So we got like a lot of like references to some of the films and comics. My personal fave out of all of the Peter Parkers is Amazing Amazing 2 Spider-Man. Like this one just feels so much like Spider-Man, like across the films and the movies, across the films and the games. And then we've got Sam Raimi. We got the upgraded suit from Homecoming. I don't know where this one comes from. I feel like it's Fantastic Four for some reason. So we got upgraded suit from Far From Home, stealth suit, same deal. The classic black suit. So that requires levels. We got the Iron Spider suit. And we've got more to finish. All right. So I am going to end the stream there. I've got a minute to go before advertisements hit, so we're going to have to be very quick about this, I'm sorry to say. Hi there, Bookie. I'm sorry. We're going to have a quick look and see who is still online, who's still doing things. We are going to go with Kusaki. We're going to go with Kusaki Desu. We got 50 seconds. Alrighty then. Thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. You'll find me streaming again Friday night. I'm going to be streaming with Code the Yoshi. I hope you all have a great time. And without further ado, I'm going to say Spider-Man 2 finished, exclamation point. That's going to be our raid message. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.